God's advice today. Have you ever felt that God is trying to speak to you, yet in the busyness of life, His signs go unnoticed? This message invites you to pause, reflect, and open your heart. Perhaps this is exactly what you needed to hear today. Watch until the end with openness, and if these words touch you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to receive more messages like this. Don't forget to check the pinned comment for a 1-minute prayer and a recommended message to help strengthen your faith even more. God said, "My son, listen to me until the end, for my voice does not speak by chance, it awakens the purpose I placed within you before your days began. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you," and that truth continues to echo over your story. Today I speak to you with the same authority that commanded light when everything was darkness, and I come to remind you that I have never withdrawn, never abandoned you, never stopped calling your name even when your thoughts were lost in the pains that tried to confuse you. Do you feel ready for a profound change in your life and in the lives of those you love? Sometimes all we need is a small step of faith to open the doors of abundance, peace, and blessings that God has already set aside for us. A simple 1-minute prayer can be the beginning of a spiritual journey that transforms the inner world and reflects on the outer one. If you wish to attract more light, balance, and prosperity, spiritual and material, click on the link in the first comment. There you will find a simple practice, guided with love, that can help you connect more deeply with the divine presence in your life. Every beat of your heart testifies that destiny, promise, calling, and future are still pulsing within you. You are not alive by accident. You are alive because there is something only you can manifest on the earth, something only you carry, something heaven entrusted to you alone. Even when you felt weak, my spirit sustained you. Even when you saw no way out, I preserved you. Even when everything seemed lost, I whispered, "There is still a way, there is still a promise, there is still life." And today I open before you a chapter that does not depend on your strength, but on my intervention, for, with God nothing is impossible. Luke chapter 1 verse 37. Rest in my love, steady your steps in my presence, and allow me to be your eternal shelter, your safe harbor, your unshakable refuge. My son, you have been through nights that seemed endless, silent nights, nights where you searched for answers and found only the weight of your own exhaustion. And even so, you breathed. Even so, you continued. I saw every hidden tear, every battle fought within your chest, every thought you struggled not to let take over. You believed yourself too small, too weak, or too late, but I say this, nothing in you surprises me, nothing in you repels me, nothing you have lived is capable of canceling what I have determined. My grace does not abandon you when you grow weak, it is precisely there that it covers you with greater strength. The years that have passed did not steal your essence. They only revealed how you were forged in the fire without being destroyed. Today I tell you, do not look at your age, your failures, or the opportunities you think you missed. Time is in my hands, and I can transform decades of silence into seconds of manifestation. My son, remember what I promised you, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 30 verse 5. And this morning is not just a time on a clock, it is a spiritual season, a direct intervention of my spirit over your journey. Today I tell you, a new dawn has come for your story. What once seemed dry like a desert will begin to bloom, for a single word from me is enough to turn barren land into an abundant garden. There is no wound too deep that my touch cannot heal, no past too heavy that my hand cannot lift, no memory too painful that my voice cannot renew. I am breathing upon you a new wind, the wind that restores what was broken and rekindles what you thought had died inside you. You are not a burden, you are a promise in progress. You are not a failure, you are a vessel being rebuilt by the potter. You are not late, you are being prepared. Comment, I trust in the peace God gives me, He is my fortress. I tell you, my son, you have no idea how much you have been protected. There were battles you never saw, attacks you never perceived, dangers you never knew were ready to strike you. But I was there. I rose before the pain could find you. I silenced storms that tried to rise against your peace. I preserved you when your mind wanted to give up and your heart could no longer find strength. Today I remind you, nothing was lost before me. I saw every seed of faith you planted, even those made in silence, even those no one witnessed. I do not reward spectacle, I reward sincerity. And everything you did out of love, out of faith, out of obedience, is recorded before me. Nothing was in vain. Nothing went unnoticed. And now the time has come for me to bring to light what has been hidden, guarded, preserved for the exact moment. My beloved son, for I know the thoughts that I think toward you, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11. You look at your story and find imperfections, falls, wounds, moments of confusion, and disappointments that marked your soul, but I look at your story and see redemption being written, purpose being formed, growth being forged, and promises that never lost their value. I do not call you by what you did, nor do I define you by the mistakes you made. I call you by what I planned for you from the beginning. Your true identity is not in the scars you carry, but in the eternal mark I placed upon your life before you ever breathed for the first time. You are mine, completely mine, and nothing can separate you from my love, not your past, nor your fears, nor the voices that tried to suffocate your hope. Today I lift you not to relive old pains, but to reveal what is coming, to reignite what seemed extinguished, to awaken what was dormant. My spirit is stirring deep waters within you, waters that were held back by the routine of battles, and I now call you to a new awakening, a new breath, a new chapter where you will walk with purpose. For did you know that there is an effective method to attract greater financial prosperity? This technique can help transform your deep-seated beliefs and change the way you perceive reality. It had a profound impact on my life, and we would like to invite you to explore this special practice. When we trust that God wants to act in our lives, we gain the courage to ask Him directly. God desires to bless each of us in a unique and wonderful way. That's why it's important to seek His blessings with faith and confidence, believing that He has a special plan for you. If you would like to support our work and the team dedicated to bringing content that inspires and transforms, we invite you to check out our product. The link is available in the first comment, so you can discover how this technique can also help you on your journey. Your contribution helps us continue sharing messages that make a difference. We deeply appreciate your trust and support. Ness, and a restored identity. My son, listen, I do not see your age as a limit, I see it as a testimony. Every year lived carries stories, and every story carries seeds. You thought those seeds had died, but I tell you, no seed planted in faith fails to bloom at the appointed time. There were chapters 1 myself closed because you no longer had strength, but there were also chapters 1 delayed because your maturity was not yet complete. You are not late, you are aligned with the eternal clock. And now, what has remained stored, what seemed to have been sleeping for so long, will begin to move. It is not the end. It is transition. It is not closure. It is renewal. Nothing prevented you from growing, I simply prepared you to fly. Comment, I trust in God's love, He is my refuge. For I am the Lord your God who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. Isaiah chapter 41 verse 13. My son, I hold you by the hand, and no one can pull you away from me. When you weakened, I sustained you. When you were discouraged, I covered you. When you felt alone, I embraced you. You were never abandoned, never forgotten, never walked alone for even a single day. I was there in your valleys, in your falls, in your hidden tears. I was there when you were strong on the outside but shattered on the inside. I was there when you smiled so you wouldn't worry anyone. My gaze never drifted away from you. And now I tell you, you are too loved to remain where you are. I am taking you into a new season, not because you have strength, but because I decided to lift you up. My son, the new season I am announcing over your life will not come through human hands. It will not come through personal effort, nor through influence, nor through coincidence. It will come through the breath of my Spirit. What I am doing cannot be explained, only witnessed. I am aligning paths, removing obstacles, opening doors that no human strength ever managed to open. I am cleansing your mind, strengthening your spirit, renewing your courage, lifting the weight that accumulated over your shoulders. You will learn to walk lightly again. You will believe again without fear. You will dream again without guilt. You will smile again without pretending. I am healing what you hid. I am restoring what you thought was lost. I am bringing life where you only saw discouragement. My son, though the fig tree does not blossom and there is no fruit on the vine, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. Habakkuk chapter 3 verses 17 and 18. There are moments when what you see does not match what I promised, but it is precisely in this time that your faith becomes a bridge to the supernatural. You look around and do not understand, but I am working within. You wonder if I failed you, but it was I who protected you from what would have destroyed you. You think time has passed you by, but time only prepared the soil for what I am about to do. You are stronger than you think, more precious than you imagine, and more guarded than you ever realized. My promise does not age. My purpose does not expire. My word does not return void. I am rewriting your story from the inside out. You have looked at your life and wondered whether your season has already passed, whether the opportunities you once sensed have quietly slipped away while you were fighting silent battles no one else saw. But I tell you with eternal authority, human clocks do not govern my movements. I am not intimidated by calendars or confined by the progression of years. When I decide to act, when I issue the command for renewal, restoration, and resurrection, every barrier collapses, every obstacle shifts, and every boundary of age becomes irrelevant. If your body feels slower than before, my strength will uphold you. If your voice has lost some of its fire, I will breathe power into your words until they strike the hearts of those who hear you. If your dreams have fallen asleep beneath layers of disappointment, I will awaken them with a decree that cannot be cancelled. I have never miscounted your worth. I am the shepherd who knows every sheep by name, not by number, not by performance, not by outward vigor, but by essence. Even in moments when you thought you had wandered too far, I watched you with the protective gaze of one who never loses sight of those he loves. You saw yourself as someone fading, but I saw someone marked since the beginning with purpose, someone carrying a story that only grows richer with time. My staff does not condemn, it guides. My call is not a reprimand, it is an invitation back home. And if these words resonate deeply in your spirit, it is because you are hearing the truth your soul has been waiting for, truth spoken directly to the place within you that still believes even when everything else feels tired. You are not called by an identification tag or a statistic. I call you by the name I whispered over you before you ever took your first breath. And when I call your name now, it is not to remind you of what went wrong, but to restore what has been wounded, to reignite what has dimmed, and to unveil what is still hidden before you. Age is not a barrier in my kingdom, it is a testament. Every year lived holds seeds that I can still cause to bloom, even in soil that looks barren. I declare over you that your story has not reached its final chapter. There are still people whose lives will be touched by what I will accomplish through you. There are still melodies inside you, some sung aloud, some whispered in silent prayers, that will rise again. There are still paths ahead that will be illuminated by the steps I will strengthen. When I say, "Come," it is not a hesitant suggestion, it is an authoritative call wrapped in love. It is never too late when I am the one who speaks. No night is so prolonged that it can obstruct the dawn I appoint. You are hearing these words now because you are chosen for this moment, not a moment of the past, not a moment that has expired, but this exact moment. Your age is not a burden, it is evidence that I have held you until the very point of fulfilling what has not yet happened. What you believed was a period, I intended as a comma. I am still writing your story, line by line, with the same intentionality with which I formed you. I still believe in you, even on days when you struggle to believe in yourself. Today, I speak life over your dreams, life that pushes back against despair, life that awakens buried hopes, life that reclaims what fear attempted to silence. I speak hope into every wound that has convinced you it will never fully heal. I speak purpose over your days, purpose that cannot be erased by time or diminished by age. Every cell within you will respond to this call. Every memory that whispers, "It is finished," will confront my voice declaring, "It begins again." You will be like a tree planted by streams of living water, yielding fruit in the season I appoint, and your leaves will not wither under the pressure of years. Even if your circumstances resemble autumn, leaves falling, strength fading, I bring spring when I choose to make a life bloom anew. I call you not by the name tied to your past pain, but by the name bound to my promise, etched by my own hand in the book of life. Nothing in you is too insignificant for my care. No error is too vast for my redemption. No age is too advanced for my will. I am the one who transforms endings into beginnings, deserts into gardens, tears into fountains of joy. I know the heaviness that sits on your chest when silence feels louder than any spoken word. I know the emptiness that creeps in when you start believing your existence no longer carries greatness, when you assume the extraordinary moments of your life have long since faded into memory. There were nights when your heart ached in quiet desperation, wondering how much strength you had left. There were moments when you looked into the mirror searching for traces of the spark you once carried. There were words you never voiced, fears you never dared confess, and worries that curled themselves around your mind until you convinced yourself that decline was inevitable and purpose was something reserved for others. Yet through every silent cry, I was present, not as a distant observer but as the one who refused to let go of your hand. Aging does not mean being set aside, it means your roots have grown deeper, preparing to support a harvest far greater than anything produced in your earlier years. The fruits I am cultivating in you now have a fragrance shaped by storms weathered, mountains climbed, and wisdom earned. They carry the beauty of endurance and the strength that arises from one who has walked through valleys and still dared to lift their eyes. You are not forgotten. You are not fading. You are becoming. You are entering a fullness that only time can prepare. I have watched every step not with judgment, but with the tenderness of one who tends to a rare seed, knowing what it will one day become. Your path has never been an accident, not the twists, not the pauses, not the unexpected interruptions that made you feel as though you had lost your direction. Every tear that fell in secret was gathered in my hands. Every disappointment that weighed down your soul was seen by me long before you could articulate its weight. When others believed you had reached the end, I was nurturing what would bloom at the exact moment of my choosing. Nothing escapes my care. Nothing is overlooked. I know about the nights when your breathing felt heavy with sorrow. I know the mornings when you woke up wondering if you still mattered, if there was anything left for you to give. I know the battles you fought internally, the ones you believed no one else noticed. But I noticed. I was there. I am still there. Your worth was never tied to youth, energy, or outward accomplishment. Your worth is anchored in who you are to me, beloved, chosen, carried, and formed with intention. You have believed the lie that the best has passed, but I say the best is unfolding. Not because it looks like what you imagined long ago, but because it is shaped by who you have become, stronger, deeper, wiser, and more sensitive to my voice. I am not calling you into a repetition of your past. I am calling you into a season shaped by everything you have lived. You may see wrinkles and fatigue when you look at yourself, but I see depth. I see resilience. I see a vessel that has endured pressures without breaking. I see someone who has learned the language of perseverance. The world celebrates beginnings, but I honor endurance. The world praises youth, but I magnify maturity. You have survived storms that others would not have withstood. You have carried burdens that were heavier than your own strength, and yet you are still here, not by accident, but by preservation. I kept you because your story is not finished. I preserved you because there are still seeds within you waiting for their season. And that season is approaching, not as something delayed, but as something perfectly aligned. Do not measure yourself by the pace of others. Do not measure your timeline by the rising and falling of earthly cycles. My timing is incomparable. When I breathe on something, it accelerates. When I appoint a moment, nothing can delay it. What you thought was delay was preparation. What felt like silence was formation. What you assumed was decline was repositioning. You stand at the threshold of a new chapter, not because you forced it open, but because I have unlocked it. Every experience you have lived, every joy, every heartbreak, every lesson, has shaped you into someone capable of carrying what is coming with grace. You are not the same person you were decades ago, and that is your strength. The younger version of you did not have the endurance you have now. The earlier version of you did not have the wisdom you carry. I am not choosing you despite your age, I am choosing you because of it. You have grown roots strong enough to sustain the harvest I am releasing. You carry stories that will become healing for others. You speak with a depth that only comes from surviving what once threatened to break you. And now, as I breathe life into your dreams once more, you will see them revived, not in the fragile way they once existed, but in a mature, grounded, powerful expression that carries heavenly weight. You are not reaching the end of your usefulness. You are stepping into a meaningful new beginning. I have preserved your voice for this time. I have kept your heart tender for this chapter. I have sustained your life because there is more to be written. Listen, beloved child, your age is not your weakness, it is your testimony. Your past is not your failure, it is your foundation. Your limitations are not barriers, they are invitations for my strength to be revealed. You are still becoming what I designed you to be. You are still stepping into what I prepared long before you realized you were being prepared. And as you walk forward, know this truth: what I begin, I finish. What I promise, I fulfill. What I speak over you cannot return empty. You have not missed your moment. You are standing in it. I am calling you, not as you were, not as others saw you, but as I created you. The story continues. The light returns. The purpose awakens. And what begins now will be greater than anything behind you. My hand is on you. My breath is within you. My promise is before you. And your new chapter has already begun. Every silent battle, every night where you held your breath just to keep yourself from breaking, every time you forced your heart to keep beating while feeling the weight of invisible wounds, none of it has gone unnoticed. I have been beside you in each of those nights, my gaze fixed on you, waiting for the exact moment to whisper that your future remains untouched by the hands of despair. You have endured seasons where you thought your story had dimmed, but your story has only deepened. If this truth settles into your spirit, let it be known. Not because I need recognition, but because your testimony will become a river of hope for those who think their journey is over. You are not who others failed to see. You are who I have seen since the beginning, crafted with purpose, formed with intention, and filled with a divine breath that placed eternity inside your chest. Youth never defined your worth. My breath did. Time may change the surface of your life, but it cannot erase the calling I placed upon you. Time does not steal what I have ordained, it only matures it. Your light has not faded, it has transformed into something richer, steadier, and more profound. There were people who looked at you and believed your brilliance had gone out, but what they never understood is that a mature light shines differently. It does not dazzle in reckless sparks, it warms with a steady flame. It does not compete, it guides. It does not shout, it comforts. This is the light I am reigniting in you now, not a fleeting flash but a constant flame fueled by my unchanging faithfulness. The mistakes you have made do not define you, they are steps I can transform into a platform. Every moment you regret, every wrong turn, every season where shame tried to bury your voice, all of it can be redeemed in my hands. The guilt that once threatened to paralyze you will become a testimony that sets others free. The shame that tried to silence you will be clothed in honor. The feeling of uselessness that once clung to you will be replaced by a quiet strength that others will admire. Nothing you have lived has been wasted. I know your name, every chapter of your life, every moment when you ran ahead, every moment when you froze in confusion, every moment when you could no longer move. In each of these seasons, I remained. My love did not shrink when you fell. It did not pull back when you wandered. It did not tire when you stopped believing. My faithfulness toward you is rooted not in what you do but in who I am. I am the shepherd who crosses entire valleys for just one wandering sheep. I am the one who leaves the 99 safely gathered, just to search for you, even when others say it is too late. You are not a number, not a statistic, not a face lost in the crowd. You are a name written with living letters upon my heart. Your voice still holds value to me. Even when it trembles, even when it feels faint, even when it comes out as nothing more than a strained whisper. Through that wounded voice, I will make melodies of hope echo across places you thought were silent. I do not need crowds to move heaven. I simply need willing hearts. And though your heart is bruised, it still carries a pulse of faith. That small pulse is enough. It is enough for me to overturn entire landscapes in your favor. The signals you carry, those marks that many label as signs of decline, are, to me, signs of survival. They prove that you have walked through battles that should have shattered you, yet here you stand. They are signs of someone who has been wounded but not destroyed, someone who has cried but not surrendered, someone who has felt the shadows but refused to extinguish their flame. Every scar upon you is a reminder to the enemy that I have never left your side. Time may have taken many things from your hands, but it has not touched my plan for your life. If the hands that once built with strength now tremble, I will fortify them. If your mind doubts, I will renew it. If your body grows weary, I will sustain it. There is no part of you I cannot use, no part of you that is disqualified in my eyes. I do not search for perfection, I search for surrender. The calling I placed over your life does not expire like dates on a calendar. It remains alive, waiting for the moment when you look toward me with courage, even if your courage speaks in silence, and say, "Here I am." When you say those words, even quietly, I will move everything around you. As you walk forward, remember this: every step you take, even the most uncertain one, is guided by a wisdom that surpasses all understanding. It is not about the strength you possess in a single moment, it is about the assurance that the path has been prepared for you to walk with confidence born from knowing you are unconditionally accompanied. What the world labels as decline is often the very ground where authentic resilience is forged. It is where the deepest layers of your purpose become evident. It is where roots grow strong and unshakable. It is where you discover the version of yourself that only emerges when everything familiar has been stripped away. In that place, I shape you. In that place, I refine you. In that place, I remind you that the end of your strength is the beginning of mine. You will see your story unfold with redemption in colors you never expected. There are seeds within you that will bloom the moment you simply rise again and begin to walk. Do not underestimate the impact I can create through someone who decides to answer my calling, regardless of age. I do not see your age as a limitation. I see your history as evidence that miracles do not have expiration dates. I am the God who speaks and sees open. I am the one who commands deserts to bloom. When I touch a weary heart, strength returns. When I speak, the impossible must bow. Reject the lie that the best part of your story has already passed. The best chapters have not been written yet. I reserve the most extraordinary moments for seasons when others assume there is no time left. I am the specialist in bringing promises to life in places where everyone else has already surrendered hope. Look again at your life through my eyes. Your journey has not been random, it has been miraculous. Every tear watered the soil of your future. Every disappointment redirected you toward a greater fulfillment. Every delay protected you from paths that would have wounded you beyond repair. What you call a late season, I call a prepared season. What you call loss, I call pruning for greater fruit. What you call weakness, I call a vessel ready for my power. And now, my child, I am breathing upon the embers within you. I am stirring visions you thought had withered. I am reigniting dreams you believed were buried. I am pouring courage into places where fear built walls. You will rise, not because you feel ready, but because I am lifting you. You will shine, not with the brightness of youth, but with the glow of a life refined by fire. And this glow, steady, warm, constant, will guide others who wander in the dark. For your story is not ending, it is finally beginning to make sense. Right now, there is a wind moving within you, not from the world, not from circumstances, not from emotion, but from the Spirit who knows the depths of your story. He knows the wounds hidden behind your silence, the fears you choose not to speak, the disappointments you buried to keep going. This wind does not come to disrupt you but to awaken you. Let this truth root itself deep. Your story is not a burden, it is an altar, a sacred place where my glory rests. Every chapter you lived is a stone in that altar. Every trial you survived is a flame upon it. And every promise I have spoken over you will find its fulfillment in the timing I have ordained. My Spirit moves in places no one else can reach. He heals wounds time could not close. He reshapes dreams you thought had dissolved into memory. You call it too late. I call it perfect timing. You see broken pieces. I see the beginning of reconstruction. The walls around your heart, built to shield you from disappointment yet trapping your spirit, are being touched now. And as they tremble, as they begin to fall, you will not be exposed but liberated. Remember the days when believing felt natural, when a whisper from heaven calmed your anxieties, when tears carried relief instead of shame, when you prayed and sensed peace spreading like gentle light across your chest? Those days were never meant to be a distant memory. They were not confined to a past version of you. I am not a God of seasons that come once. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. The Holy Spirit who embraced you then embraces you now. You have not lost Him, not for a single day. There was only a door in your heart that slowly closed out of caution, out of fatigue, out of fear that hope would hurt again. But the Spirit stands there patiently, whispering, knocking, calling you by name. Not in ordinary words, but in a depth that shakes the roots of your soul. He speaks, I am still here. I never left. When darkness surrounded you, I was the shield you could not see. When despair tried to drown you, I was the strength beneath your feet. Every time you exhaled without knowing why you were still standing, it was because I held you. There is a power that blooms only in hearts that have been broken. A strength that does not come from victory but from surrender. When you reached moments where you said, I can't fight anymore, the Holy Spirit fought on your behalf. He does not need stages, applause, or spotlights. His greatest works unfold in hidden places, in tears that never fall, in thoughts you never voice, in moments when you are alone with your reality. It is there, in the quiet corners of your existence, that He rekindles fires time tried to extinguish. He revives courage you thought had died. He restores the childlike faith that once made you fearless. He breathes life where the world expected decay. Your brokenness is not your disqualification, it is the soil where His greatest miracles take root. And even now, He is planting something new within you, something resilient, something luminous, something eternal. You carry wounds that few know about, buried frustrations, promises broken by others, expectations that faded after years of trying. You began to silence your heart not because you lacked faith, but because you were tired of being disappointed. I know the exact moment when your silence began, the moment you decided it was safer to hope quietly than to believe loudly. But it is precisely there, in the most private chambers of your soul, that my Spirit is pouring Himself out upon you. He comes like soothing balm on open wounds, like gentle rain on dry ground, like fire that warms without consuming. You do not need to perform for my love. You do not need to earn my presence. You do not need to strive to be worthy. You are loved because you are mine, not because you have done everything right. You are held because I chose you long before the world ever formed an opinion about you. And my Spirit is moving through every part of you, your past, your present, your hopes, your fears, bringing restoration that no human hand could ever achieve. You are not standing at the end. You are standing at the unfolding of a divine chapter. What felt delayed is actually being aligned. What felt broken is being rebuilt. What felt silent is being rewritten with eternal ink. The Spirit is not reviving the old, He is birthing the new. And the new will surpass everything you lost. The new will carry glory you have never tasted. The new will reveal why the waiting was necessary. Open your heart now, not cautiously, not partially, but fully. You are safe. You are seen. You are surrounded. And the winds of my Spirit are already shaping the path before you. What comes next is not the conclusion, but the awakening your soul has longed for. For I am here. I am with you. I am in you. And I am not finished. With love, God. I hope this message has been an inspiration to you. If it touched your heart, write Amen in the comments and share it with someone who also needs to hear this word. I invite you to click on the first comment, where you will find a special prayer and a suggestion to strengthen your spiritual journey. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive more inspiring content like this. See you tomorrow.